Hey, good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order today. Is Wednesday, October the 5th, 8:32 a.m. My name is Brennan Kelsey. I'll be chair along with me is Ms. Bonnie Jackson, Mr. Burl Wyatt. Staff and support seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. With staff and support, please introduce yourself. Our remote location is Elaine Hunt. With staff and support at Elaine Hunt, please introduce yourself.
Good morning. Warden Donnie Bartlow. Joe Butcher's Assistant Warden.
Assistant Warden Carl Thomas.
Offender Anthony Gerard Bailey.
All right, thank you. We're ready for our first case. Go ahead and introduce yourself. State your name and DOC number for the record.
Anthony Gerard Bailey, 297843.
Okay, Anthony, you heard the introductions.
Yes, sir.
I'll read some. We'll have a parole interview. I'll read some information to the record. We'll ask some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement, take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
All right, Anthony Bailey, DOC number 297843. Third class offender, parole eligibility date 8/1/2021, good time date 2/18/2050, full term date 1/13/2051, 50-year sentence. Looks like there's a detainer on record here. Attempted second degree murder, habitual offender. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Can we answer Ms. Jackson's questions, please?
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, ma'am.
How you doing today?
I'm doing blessed, ma'am. Thank you for asking. How are you doing today?
I'm as well. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I'm 50 years old.
Okay. Will you be making 51 soon?
Yes, ma'am. December the 9th.
And how much time have you actually served on this sentence?
January the 12th of next year will make 22 years.
Right now you're 21 plus.
Yeah, 21 years and like 9 months.
I
10
got,
months.
I got you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Bailey, let me first start talking to you about the incident. You know, we have all the police reports, and we have all the information, but I'd like to hear from you what happened in this case on the attempted second degree murder.
Well, a man owned a store in my neighborhood, and him and my mom got into it, and I did a childish thing. I shot him.
Well, I didn't see anything in the record about any conflict between, his name was Mr. Pham and anyone else. This appeared to have been perhaps a robbery because there was some discussion. You said that there was another person with you. You wouldn't name that person, and you said there was a discussion about robbing the victim. So where is this stuff about getting into it with your mom? Where was your mom when you did the shooting?
Well, ma'am, my mom was at home, but I never made a statement. I never talked to the detectives or nothing. I never say nothing about that, ma'am.
Your moment. All right, let me go through a little bit with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Christopher and Detective Christopher and Detective Cotard of the West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, who were the investigators in this case. They spoke to two witnesses who stated that they observed a black male exit the store quickly, go towards Mulatto Bend Road into the woods. They surrounded it, were located within an hour of the incident. They arrested you, advised you of Miranda, and when you got to the sheriff's office, They interviewed you and you told them that you were with another male, but you would not provide a name. You said that the day before, the same male had stated that he was going to rob the store and kill the clerk. He said, Bailey said that he and the unknown male went to the store, but Bailey began to walk away when he heard a gunshot and saw the unnamed male running out of the store. Bailey said he would not give any further information because he would be considered a rat if he gave up his boy. And then you told the detectives to go ahead and book you so you could get some sleep. They, on their way to the jail, you stated that you would do your time on the charge now and get out and kill the victim because if he would have shot him the first time, he wouldn't have killed him and he was booked into jail. There's no reference whatsoever about any kind of conflict between your mother and the store owner. That was just already kind of, there was no other person who was seen in the store or leaving the store. So when you said that there was another guy, that's kind of something you made up. And I feel like you're kind of making stuff up today. And I just want to tell you that, that doesn't help you. What helps you is to be honest, because that shows that you accept responsibility and that you are willing to face the consequences of your actions. I'm going to give you another chance.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
could you tell us what happened on the day that the victim was shot?
That's why I didn't lie to you when you asked me that, ma'am. And I told you that I did shoot him. In my record, they should have the waiver or my memorandum right for them to question me. I signed it.
My question, why did you shoot him?
He got into it with my mama, ma'am. I'm not telling you a word of a lie. He actually, it was something that I shouldn't have took as bad as I did take it. But I always been raised to protect my mom.
When did this incident with your mom occur?
It occurred in October of 2000.
I understand, but how long before you shot this man did the incident?
It's like 3 months later, ma'am.
Well, why would something that happened 3 months prior cause you to go in and shoot somebody? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I wasn't told as soon as it happened because my brother, may he rest in peace, he was scared that I would do something stupid like that.
Well, what is it that supposedly happened to your mother that would cause you to shoot someone?
My mom went in there with a food stamp card and he was trying to tell her there wasn't no money on the card or something like that. I didn't know everything. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. And he ended up calling my mom a black bee and told her to get out of his place of business. And she exited his store like he asked her and everything. And a little bit after Christmas, me and my brother was sitting down talking. We had been drinking. And he just was like, man, I never told you, bro. But the man at the store, him and mama got into it and everything. And I did something that was stupid. I went down and I shot him. I was wrong. And I'm sorry that I did that. But I did that, ma'am. I made a dumb decision in my life at that time. And I paid for it very dearly. I've lost my mom since then, but I did that.
Let me ask you this. I'm looking at your record. I
Yes,
see
ma'am.
1999, you got arrested for attempted manslaughter, but they ended up not evidence that they needed. Do you remember being arrested for attempted manslaughter?
Yes, ma'am. 1996, July the 3rd. My fiance at that time shot a man. And I was arrested along with her.
What about the armed robbery where you pled guilty to first-degree robbery?
Yes, ma'am. That was January of 1992. I pled guilty to it. Me and my cousin went to a Chevron store. He had a little BB pistol in his back pocket. When we went into the store and went down the potato chip aisle, the woman that was running the store seen a pistol. So she left from by the cash register, went in the back and locked the door. And she said, y'all take whatever y'all want, and we took a little beer and little candy, some chips and stuff and exited the store. I pled guilty to it because, I took some of the stuff.
Let me ask you this, what was going on with you? Why were you involved in all of this criminal activity?
I was on drugs. I'm just being truthful with you, I was on drugs, because as a juvenile, I had no problems. I didn't do nothing, but once I reached the age of 18, I started smoking crack, and I had a bad experience with it.
So let's move forward. Well, let me ask you this. It looks like I'm kind of confused by this. You were booked with some new felony charges while you were at Angola, right? In August of 20, you got booked with some new felony charges.
Yes.
Tell me about that. About the West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. What?
Yes, ma'am. I was working at the hospital at Angola, and a guy, ma'am.
That these charges happened while you were in Angola?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
you were booked with possession with intent to distribute mojo and possession schedule 2 as a result of an incident that happened when you were working at the hospital at Angola. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Have you gone to court on those charges?
No, ma'am. I have filed motions to appear and everything. Did I do this to you? I have filed motions to appear and everything, but they haven't never brought me to court on it.
So far, no action has been taken. You haven't been arraigned or anything. You were
No,
just
ma'am.
on the charges. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I never been fingerprint. I never been talked to about it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go before the disciplinary board at the prison?
Yes, ma'am. They gave me 30 days lost a good time, 30 days administrative segregation, and transferred to David Wade Correctional Center.
And how long have you been at David Wayne?
I spent a little bit right at like 4 months from July the 9th of 2021 to November the 21st.
And how long have you been at Hunt?
Since November the 21st of 2021.
And so a little less than a year.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I do know that you had quite a few write-ups. You had quite a few write-ups in 20 and 21. Actually, let me get that straight. You had 3 Class B write-ups in 2021. You had 4 in 2020 involving defiance, contraband, and aggravated disobedience. You had a total of 62 write-ups. So why have you had so many write-ups, and what have been your issues that have caused you to get all these write-ups, particularly the ones in 21 and 20?
Okay, well, the one in 21, the most recent one, August the 3rd, when I was transferred from Angola, I failed a urinalysis test for marijuana. I had been smoking marijuana. I'm not gonna lie to you, I had been smoking. I haven't smoked since then. And the one before that one, the defiance, a new free man. Defiance, a new free man, well, a new security officer had just started at Angola, and he had a kind of like nasty attitude, and sometimes you don't have to do something to get a write-up, and I really didn't do nothing. If I did something, I would tell y'all. No reason to lie. My freedom is in y'all hands. I really didn't do nothing, but he wrote me up for a defiance, saying I cussed him out, and called him all kind of bad things and everything. But I wasn't placed in administrative segregation or nothing, because a lot of security knew me. And when they came in, they talked to me, they knew that that really wasn't my mentality. That's not, the person who I am. At one time, yes, I used to be a bad person. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I used to catch a lot of write-ups. I had a problem with authority and everything. But I learned that, I'm my biggest enemy. In order to change myself, I had to change my way of thinking. I had to change my way of living. And that's what I did. That's why since I've been at Elaine Hunts Correctional Center, I haven't had a write-up. And I credit a lot of that to the security too, because they be on their officers. If they don't do nothing, don't just write them up because you're having a bad day. But I had to change my way of thinking and my way of living, in order to better myself.
Well, I will say, I have noticed that within the last year, you started to take programs and looks like you're starting to turn around, and I'm encouraged to see that. What kind of programs have you taken to address your substance abuse problem?
I took addiction recovery and veteran program because I'm a member of the veterans program. I done passed everything to get my high set. The only reason why I don't have it is because they just switched.
I thought, but I want to skim over the substance abuse.
Okay, I have took substance abuse. I have anger management, cage of rage.
Okay, again, I want to stick on substance abuse. Okay,
Okay.
can we there for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what substance abuse program did you take?
I took addiction recovery.
Okay, let's talk about recovery.
Yes, ma'am.
How long did that program last?
36 weeks.
And what did you learn in addiction recovery?
I learned that I'm my biggest enemy. Drugs don't call me. I call the drugs. And it taught me how to deal with the things that would cause me to want to do drugs, stress, problems, and it taught me that you can't always get what you want. But if you continue to work, that you will get what you need. In order to be a better person, it starts with you because you is your biggest enemy. So you have to change yourself.
Let me ask you this, what kind of tools have you learned to help you cope with stress and other things that trigger your addiction? So what tools do you have?
God in my Bible. I read my Bible daily. I have a daily bread I read every morning. I read my Bible at least 5 times a day. And when I see a problem, I try to avoid it.
Hey, I don't discount the value of faith of mine. But even people with faith have an illness or an addiction,
Yes,
still
ma'am.
have tangible things that they have been taught to do when you find yourself in that situation.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm trying to find out if you learn those tools.
Yes, ma'am. I think about my family that's still left living. Like I say, my mom and dad is dead, my grandmother's. And I think about my grandchildren, and they need me, and I need myself. I went through a lot.
I understand, but listen to me. I understand all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
None of that's going to keep you sober. It's not. It's not. Because you had a family, I said, none of that is going to keep you sober. Your family had a family when you were out there using drugs before, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Maybe
ma'am.
you didn't value it as much as you do now, but you still had that, and that didn't keep you from using.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
you get out, life is not going to be a bed of roses. There's going to be a lot of stressors that you're going to have to deal with. And
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
don't know specific techniques to use so that you don't fall back into your addiction, guess what? You're going to go right back to what gives you relief, which is
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
drug. So I'm trying to get you to understand that you gotta have some specific steps to take when you face that temptation. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Well, my steps in here is to avoid, the people that's using it, to stay around from the areas, where it's being used. And like I say, to try to, keep myself strong.
That's a lot. You can stop talking. Warren, can you tell me if you all have Living in Balance, Celebrate Recovery, AA and NA programs at Hunt?
Yes, ma'am, we have all those.
Okay, those are the kinds of things that you need, Mr. Bailey.
I have all them. I have all them, ma'am.
I didn't see, when did you take Celebrate Recovery?
Oh. Okay. All right, here's Living Balance 2019. Here's Addiction Recovery. This was February of this year. Where's my Living Life in Balance?
That's okay, Miss. Okay, that's okay. But you did Living in Balance in 2019, but then you got the Mojo and the Schedule 2 in 2020, after you had taken Living in Balance.
Yes, ma'am. And to deal with that, I took Addiction Recovery February of this year,
Okay.
36 weeks.
I commend you for that. I commend
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
All right, Mr. Kelsey, I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Morton, you have any input?
Yes, sir. Like a lot of guys in here, they, Bailey kind of did the same thing. He didn't have a parole eligibility date, so he was, still living that life that he always lived. And, when he found out he had a parole eligibility date, I guess he kind of started changing then. Since then, he's been on the right track. I think he's got some, a little ways to go, but I definitely think he's on the right track. He went through our behavior management, program. He did well. And he's been assisting in the chapel and, helping out. I think he's definitely on the right track. He's got a few things that he needs to finish in that little packet over there he's got, but, he's on the right track.
Thank you. Right, Ms. Wise?
Mr. Bailey, are you married?
No, ma'am. I have a fiance that I've been with like 27 years, and we consider ourselves married.
Okay, that's what okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How much education do you have?
Ma'am,
How much education do you have?
I just passed my math for my high set. The only reason why I don't have it today is because they switched the people that they was working with.
So what does that mean when you pass your math? That was the last one you had passed?
Yes, ma'am. I have
Gotcha.
to take the math high set. That was the pre-high set, but I done passed the high set science, the high set social studies, the high set reading, and the high set writing. I just was waiting to pass the pre-high set math. I passed that last Friday.
And so you've been taking the high set pretty soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad you didn't quit.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Miss Elia Loving's sister. She'd like to make a brief statement.
Yes, I'm Amelia Lovings. I'm his sister.
Hey, go
And-
ahead.
Just wanted to let the board know that he would have my full cooperation and support, physically, mentally, financially, whatever that I can support, I will.
All right, thank you so much for being here. Now we'll hear from Miss Shamika Bailey.
Yes, I'm his niece. I said we've been waiting patiently and preparing for his release. So we are ready to help him in any way possible to get on his feet so he can lead a productive life. I feel that he had the time to think about his actions that placed him in this position. And he has been expressing how regretful he is of decisions he made back when. I can see that over the years he has become to grow into the man that he wants to be, and he's ready to come out and show the world and himself that he can be a law-abiding citizen.
All right, thank you so much for your comment.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Bailey, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I didn't just wait until, I got a parole date to start getting certificates and start trying to change myself. It's been a long, hard process at Angola for a long time. We couldn't get in classes and stuff because of the reentry. And since I made it here to Hunts Correctional Center, a lot of everything was shut down because of the COVID. So I wasn't able to get in some more of the other programs. But I did get myself into the veterans program with the help of Warden Thomas. And ever since then, I've been doing my best to help the younger generation that in here, stir them away from making the same mistakes that I made in my life. And I'm very sorry to the victim, who I shot. I made a dumb decision, and I regret making that decision because I hated being away from my family for 21 years. And I can promise you, I can look you in your eyes and tell you never have to worry about this again.
All right, thank you. Great. Prepare to vote.
Yeah.
Ms. Jackson?
Mr. Bailey, I want to commend you for the things that you've accomplished so far. I really hope that you've started the process of turning things around, and I agree with the warden. You're not quite there yet. I think you need to take some more programs that are going to make sure that you're on stable footing when you get out. I'd like to see you take some more substance abuse programs, but also I'd like a little longer with no write-up. You're in a different environment now, so it shouldn't be that difficult for you to avoid write-up.
Yes, ma'am.
Place where you can take some additional programs, which I think are to benefit you. It's not to punish you and hold you there longer. It's to make sure that when you get out, you're equipped to stay out, because that's the main goal. So my vote today is going to be to deny, but to encourage you to clean up your disciplinary record and take some more substance abuse programs and then apply again when you're eligible. You're almost there. I think you will make it, but not today. You need a little bit more work. And I'm going to encourage you to keep working hard, because I think you're really finally doing some smart things and all on the right track.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Wiles?
I'm just so hopeful for you, young man. I saw where you were student of the month in August.
Yes, ma'am.
Was a place you hated. You hated. And you
Ma'am.
just really hated each other. I want to commend you for that. The warden's positive comments and the good family support. So my vote is to grant, and with probation parole giving you random drug swings over your period supervision. I'm just hoping for it. Best wishes to you.
But you have one vote to deny, and one vote to grant. Also, I'm going to vote to deny your parole today. I think, as the word says, you're close. You're right there close. You're doing the right things, but we're going to see, how you're going to do, how you're going to accept, a little setbacks. It's left up to you, but keep working hard, doing the right thing, and reapply when you can. But deny one to grant parole has been denied. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
I thought he is a smooth talker. Like he's really gifted with the gift of the gab, as they say. He could be, with in a different world, he could be a politician. He could be he's good. We got to remember, it's difficult. He's getting up there. He's basically had to spend, so he had a 50-year sentence. No, he's 50 years old. He's been in for 22 years on a 50-year sentence. And he must have pretty much felt that his life was over, but, he was locked away. He there's no kidding. He was a bad guy. He has a pretty scary record, including the one record where I believe that his fiance probably took the rap for him, which is pretty scary. But yeah, to get up there in front of the board, to have everything on the line, and to be that calm and collective. And he also has, I guess you could kind of look at both ways. At the beginning, I wasn't sure about his smile. There were parts of it that were a little bit off-putting, but I think it grew on me. I think his smile grew on me, and it was quite contagious. And I do think he left me with the impression that if he could have just, again, it's the people, places, things, and be put in the right environment and have some direction, that he could do very well for himself. His sister certainly seems to be like that person that can help keep him on the straight and narrow. I think it's another example of prison doing what it's supposed to do. It's certainly, I don't think it'd be hard to argue that if he wasn't put away, that something really bad would have happened to him and others just on the track that he was on. And he got locked away, and you can see it was real tough for him. You get write-ups. There's certain systems where you can't help it. You can get put in a good system, then all of a sudden know that you have a potential future, and he threw himself at it. I mean, he was student of the month. That's awesome. That was great. He quoted this song. You can't always get what you want, but if you work, you can get what you need, right? It's like about taking a step back and realize, like, you hear his record and it's like, oh, geez. But if we believe that people can change, and it certainly seems that he's on the right track to change. It was attempted second degree, and that's really scary. And he had a long track record, but I don't know. Maybe he sold me with the gift of his gab, and he's pulling the wool over my eyes. But I agree that the release shouldn't happen yet. It's more time, like show consistency, continue doing the courses, don't get write-ups. But then I'd like to see him, imagine if he should do like Toastmasters or something. But yeah, so I think he can reapply in 2 years, and then it's like a year from that date typically. So, in 3 years he can certainly prove himself, and let's see if he can do that. It's up to him now. With that, I'll let you go.